St. Gabriel Catholic Radio is pleased to bring you this gospel reflection from Bishop Earl K. Fernandez. This week, the bishop reflects on the gospel reading for the fifth Sunday in Ordinary Time, the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 5, verses 13 to 16.
My brothers and sisters in Christ, today we celebrate the fifth Sunday in Ordinary Time. Last Sunday, we heard from the fifth chapter of St. Matthew's Gospel, the beginning of Jesus' great Sermon on the Mount. Jesus was establishing himself as the new Moses, giving the new law of love. He was to be the teacher par excellence. He began a Sermon on the Mount with the Beatitudes. This was the spirituality, if you will, of the Christian disciple, the interior attitudes that he expected his followers to have. Now Jesus continues his Sermon on the Mount with two famous phrases. You are the salt of the earth. You are the light of the world. Jesus wants his disciples to put this spirituality into action by being salt, by being light. What does salt do? Well, in the old rite of baptism, salt was put on a baby's tongue at the beginning of the ritual. It was a symbol of wisdom. You are the salt of the earth. The members of the church are called to share the wisdom of Christ, the wisdom of the fathers of the church, the wisdom of our tradition that comes to us from the scriptures and the tradition with the world around us. Wisdom about human life, about its origins and its destiny, about the virtues. We are called to share the good news of salvation with those around us and the wisdom of those who have practiced the faith and preceded us, and even some of the things we have learned about life and about love. You are the salt of the earth. Salt is also used to purify. In the ritual for the blessing of holy water, there's the option of putting salt in the water and blessing the salt and the water. Why is this? Well, salt preserves things from corruption. And so we want to preserve the water from corruption, and we want to preserve Christian disciples from being corrupted by worldliness, but also to preserve our brothers and sisters from being damaged by worldly ways of thinking and by the attacks of the evil one. You are the salt of the earth. Salt is also used to add flavor to things. Sometimes people put a little bit of salt on the food. Doctors tell us not to do it. They say it's bad for our heart, but it does add a little bit of flavor, we must admit. Well, Christians are called to add flavor to a world that has grown stale, old ways of thinking, old ways of doing things. Christianity brings an essential newness. You are the salt of the earth. You are the light of the world. The church is called to reflect Christ's light in the world, to reflect the splendor of Christ, who is the Son of God, the rising sun that never sets. You are the light of the world. In baptism, we were all given a candle and told to keep the flame of faith burning brightly. We're also called to bring the light of the gospel and the light of the truth to those who dwell in darkness and the shadow of death. Let us ask the good God to give us his grace, that we might be the people he has called us to be.
Thanks for joining us for this gospel reflection from Bishop Earl K. Fernandez for the fifth Sunday in Ordinary Time. If you'd like to listen to it again or share it with a family member or friend, please visit the Bishop Fernandez podcast page at stgabrielradio.com.